Hi, and welcome to Inside the Practice, your go-to podcast for expert-led discussions and actionable insights in the world of dentistry and its specialties. In today's very special episode, I will be interviewing our very own host, Alan Hollander, founder and CEO of ePractice Manager, and we are going to dig into some of the top challenges dental practices have faced this year and share takeaways that you can utilize in your practice right away. Alan, it is so great to be here with you today. I'm very excited about today's episode. Can you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and ePractice Manager?
Sure, Sarah. Yeah, great to do this. It's such an interesting viewpoint to do it as a guest and have you interviewing me, but I think it's perfect. Well, I'm the CEO of ePractice Manager. I've been in management consulting in healthcare and in particular dentistry now for several decades. And our company, ePractice Manager, has serviced dentists all over North America. By now, thousands of practices that we have worked with through the current iteration, ePractice Manager, and our former company. But we have developed systems that address all areas of practice. And I'll talk about, I'm not here to just talk about ourselves. I'm here to just pass along what I think are some successful things that practices can do to improve and grow and so forth. But there are reasons that we've had this kind of longevity, and they're the exact same principles that we try to instill in our clients. So in short, I've got more to say, but I'll kind of weave it in. I'll weave in information about the company and what we do as we go through this, Sarah.
Perfect. Okay, well, we touched a little bit. You had a previous company. What year was ePractice Manager founded, and what was your vision for that?
Well, ePractice Manager was founded about 12 or 13 years ago. I had my previous consulting companies go back another 20 years. And as a little background just on how I got into this business, I grew up in a family that was very much involved in business, in the business world. My dad was a very successful manufacturer, and it created a great life for my entire family and lots of people in the family. And so I recognized, and he worked very, very hard, and it kind of set an example for me of the value of hard work and the rewards of that, the payoff, and not just the material payoff, but the time that we were able to spend as with friends, family, and overall well-being, and it just set this kind of example for me, and it just put me on that path. I majored in business in undergraduate. I went to graduate school and majored in and studied education. And I think the combination of the two of those sent me on a journey, a very long journey, which continues to this day, of learning skills that could increase people's abilities and their productivity, and sharing those kinds of things. And it's really become a lifelong passion, which I still have.
Nice.
And specifically in dental, I was doing general management consulting. One day, a friend of mine, he was a chiropractor, he needed help with his practice. And the only thing I knew about chiropractic at the time was, they crack your back, but I went to his office. It was very substantial. He was doing quite well, but it was very unorganized. And I just applied basic business systems, basic mechanics of business, and I put the systems in place, and it just started growing, and things just started to smooth out. And I went, hey, I have a job here. And I think 12 months later, I had at least 20, 25 clients. And this grew into being a consultant in all kinds of healthcare fields and areas. And I later pared it down to focus on dentistry and dental specialties. They were just out of the groups that we all worked with. They were a good group of professionals to work with. And here I am today, still doing it.
Well, as you know, I love dentistry. I've been in it myself for 20 years, and it's just such a great profession. And you have clients all across the US and up in Canada. I mean, you've got a pretty sizable firm. How do you keep track on your core mission and values for ePractice Manager? Like what exercises do you go through as a leader to try and make sure you're always on that track?
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to do sometimes because, you get hit every day, Sarah, and people anybody in any job, you're always getting things coming at you that you have to deal with, and they can distract you. And, you can take your eye off the vision and where you're trying to go. So mission is very important. And I have always felt very strongly that we're there to improve the quality of life of our clients. That's our focus. And yes, our clients want more income, and we, knock on wood, we can make that happen. But if your mission is all about money, it just tends to, you can overemphasize the material gain, and that can shut out and make less of the greater purposes that we all have, that has to do with our the things that really drive us, our personal convictions, our strong beliefs, the things that we consider doing in life that are our duties, our moral obligations and so forth. So I think that's really what does it. When I run into that, kind of I lose sight of vision, I step back and I take a look at, why am I doing this? What am I really trying to accomplish with people? And the real value is how can you help others? How can you serve others? And how can you improve them? And sometimes it's hard to do when you're dealing with issues inside your company, but that's really that's a core value that I have, and I think we have in our company.
I love it. Let's talk a little bit about service and impact. How would you describe, excuse me, can you share a success story where ePractice Manager transformed a practice efficiency and the patient care?
That's one of those questions where there are so many. It's hard to pick out. I mean, literally, name one name after the other goes, just runs through my mind. I'm getting images of various doctors. A doctor. He happens to be an oral surgeon. He's been a client for years. He introduced me to a group that I was just meeting out west a couple of weeks ago. He'd been practicing for, I would say 8 to 10 years when he came aboard. He's been with us at least 5 now. And he stood up, and I didn't know what he was going to say to introduce me, but he just introduced me as the CEO of ePractice Manager, and he just made a comment of how we had completely transformed his practice. and made it smoother and more efficient, not to mention his numbers going up substantially. You know, what we do is, I think I guess there are others who do this as well, but I think our longevity has to do with our hands-on involvement with our clients. We closely monitor everything that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, well, we'll call you on this date. When we call a client on that date, Sarah, and I know that you know this, when we call a client on that date, our consultant has already reviewed all the steps that should have occurred following the last phone call. And the new call is to go over every single step on a carefully written out plan. I mean, it is written out on a carefully written out plan that both the practice, the client, and our company is tracking. So it's that hands-on attention to detail that I feel really has enabled us to continue to do what we do with a good deal of success over the years. And whether we have hundreds of clients or whether we have dozens of clients at any particular time, it's the same attitude and the same level of meticulous immersion in what the client is doing. I mean, we feel that we should be able to predict problems in a practice before the doctor or owner gets hit with them. We feel we should see the problems before they occur. And that is what we try to do. And we have many practices. I meet doctors who were clients 20, 25 years ago. I meet them at conventions and events, and it's quite gratifying. I must tell you, it's quite heartwarming when they say, "Hey, thank you. You know, my kids are through graduate school. You know, you transformed our practice for us." I'd rather have people. You can go to our website. You'll see lots of testimonials. I'll have the clients speak for what we can do for them. I will say this: we know how to make practices grow. We know how to make them more efficient, and we have the systems that can do this. So, but as I said, we have lots of really nice testimonials on our website. We have videos and things nice things that our clients say about us, and we are very grateful for. But I would say anybody who wants to hear those stories, listen to our clients, and you'll see them.
So, Ellen, not to go off script here too much, but you touched on something that I thought was really important, and that was, the blueprint that is provided. How do you go about getting the blueprint, the action items, and then what that package looks like? Are you able to share with us a little bit what that looks like?
Sure, I'm delighted to do it, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's a really it's really at the heart of what we do. We do an in-depth analysis of anybody who is interested in becoming a client of ours. It's our initial service that we do. We will spend hours talking to a practice owner or management people for a practice prior to any engagement whatsoever. We want to understand the needs of the client. You understand the needs of an individual not by telling them all the good things that you can do. You understand the needs of a client by, one, listening. That's one thing you must do. And two, observing. You have to observe what's happening. And so we do an immersive analysis of the practice. We look at everything from the front office, from scheduling How are the phones handled? We know because we do all kinds of shopper calls.
Mhm.
We get in-depth surveys back from staff with whom we often follow up with phone calls and discussions. We really get through that. We examine metrics. We do charts. We look at P&Ls. We study the website. We look at their marketing efforts and the consequences or lack of consequences of their marketing efforts. And through all of this, we get a really clear picture. We always end up in the practice before we give any kind of a blueprint. And then we go to the office and we spend a day and a half there really seeing the operation. So it's time consuming. It's hands-on. And how do I say this? I haven't figured out how to make that terribly scalable. However, we like it that way, and we like doing that way. We can do a lot of it through Zoom, but there's nothing like being in an office, sitting in front of somebody, sitting in front of a staff member who didn't really want to answer a question a certain way, and then just kind of digging around a little bit and drilling down, and you get to the heart of what's going on. So that's how we establish the blueprint. And then if somebody engages with us on a longer term basis, well, then we have an entire plan of actions that are timelined out.
Nice.
Yeah, they're dated. They're assigned tasks to people. I mean, we run it it's project management, it's basic project management. And that way we don't miss things. And nothing gets overlooked. But it's that kind of close operation that allows us to really affect change in the practices.
I love it. I've had the opportunity to do a couple of those secret shopper calls myself, and I find it really interesting. After being a practice manager for so many years myself, making those calls and finding out, how do other people handle the phones? Like, how many rings before somebody picked up the call? Did it go to a phone tree? Were they knowledgeable on the other side of the phone? Could they answer my questions timely? That sort of thing. And, being able to provide feedback to the principal it's huge. I know it's a super valuable service.
Yeah.
So, well, that's amazing. I want to go back in time a little bit to COVID specifically. There was a lot of clients that had a lot of setbacks during that time. I mean, that was, tough transitions, right? Yes. Can you give me some more examples about, what did we do for clients during that time period and how, fast forward 5 years later, how they're doing now?
Those were interesting times. They were difficult. They were difficult for everybody. It was difficult for us. It was quite difficult for dentists, as you know. Many of them were forced to shut down. Our specialty practices, particularly our surgical practices, of which we have many, they were able to, with the exception of very short periods of time, stay open and handle emergencies. Particularly the surgeons who were double degree and had medical services as well that they could perform. But it was very, very tough. The area, as everybody knows, that got really heated up and still is a hot area was HR. And those people who left the workforce, the apparency is they're still not around. There were people who did indeed get scared out of this particular arena. But here's what we found. And to answer your question directly, the year after COVID happened, I am delighted to say that our clients just rebounded immediately.
Love it.
Yeah, the reason they did is because they had strong infrastructures and strong systems.
Mm-hmm.
And I will comment now about this because everywhere you go, everywhere, South Dakota, Seattle, San Antonio, Sarasota, Syracuse, to use as many S's as I can
I
think
love
of.
it.
You hear the same thing. Oh, hiring is very difficult here. It's very, very difficult. We're in a very rural area. It's hard to find people.
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey, densely, intensely populated. Oh, it's very hard to find individuals here. They have many, many reasons for doing it. So here's what we have found is the key to one, finding people and keeping them.
Mm-hmm.
One, knowing how to screen properly, not lowering your standards. And many doctors simply lowered their many owners lowered their standards because they said, we have to hire, we've got to take somebody we know they're substandard, but we need somebody.
Right.
Well, okay, I'm at that may be the case. That may be the case. However, if you don't have a system in your practice that can bring a person aboard and nurture them and train them,
Mm-hmm.
onboard them properly, a thorough procedural manual and job description,
Right.
and somebody who is going to mentor and coach them and get them up to speed. If you don't do that, the runway is so much longer for such an individual. It's much bumpier. They get stressed out. We constantly hear from employees who've come aboard who are new in practices. I just got thrown in.
Yes.
No
Yes.
job description, no training sessions. So this extra time that one could spend bringing a person in on the day, perhaps when the office is closed. Okay, you pay them for a half a day. Big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Spend intensive time working with them one-on-one or whoever the person is training them. That is worth so much to that individual, the employee, who is so appreciative of that. It gets them up and running. It gets them able to contribute.
Yes.
And feel valuable and feel like they're part of the practice more quickly. And I'll tell you, this is what builds loyalty. Bonuses and raises do not build loyalty. Certainly not against those, and they should be there as appropriate. But that doesn't build loyalty. And that staff member who's been worked with is much less likely to jump ship on you just because somebody down the street tried to poach them for a couple of bucks an hour more.
Right.
So these systems, which are just severely and dramatically overlooked, are so much a part of building a strong team and a practice that I can't emphasize it enough. So we devote a lot of our efforts to putting those systems in place and improve them, and they have a tremendous and dramatic effect on practices.
So not just the systems too, but we have a whole library at ePractice Manager of job descriptions and procedure descriptions, and then a whole library of ADA certified courses on training staff members. I mean, we've done a lot of work to really build this library and make this accessible, and they're online, so they're very easy for people to access and be able to to do on the weekends or whenever, or that half day they bring them in. So a lot of options for doctors. That's awesome.
Yes, very true, Sarah. We have a vast library of materials that our clients and non-clients can get access to. We have I think around 25 or 30 training videos on every major position in a practice that individuals can access and can subscribe to. along with, gosh, I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds of pages of content and job descriptions that are really the fabric of a practice. So we,
Well,
and
sorry,
I will say, and I'll just comment on, I'll just say this, Sarah, we didn't invent this. We really didn't. Here's what I think we've done very well. When you work in practice after practice after practice for so many years, you see what works.
Mm-hmm.
You see what works. If I want to have a full arch replaced, personally, I'm going to go to somebody who's done it hundreds of times.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to go to somebody who's done it a few times, even 10 or 20 times. I want somebody who's done it over and over and over and over and over again. And I think the advantage, and it's a wonderful asset of our company, is our longevity and experience, because we've taken all of these things that we've observed over the years and we have systematized those. And it's the combination of now having those codified and then having them implemented properly that is a very, very powerful, has a very, very powerful impact together for us. And I think it's really, they're real keys to the success of our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Experience definitely matters. So correct me if I'm wrong, but does ePractice Manager have a branch or an arm of people that will help screen, select, and hire for offices these days? Do we have something along those lines?
We have, we can do, our consultants will help clients on screening.
Gotcha.
And, that comes up a lot in the free consultations that we do, because often those people will come to us, whether they're referred through a strategic partner or another client of ours. They know that we have done so much work in hiring and recruiting that we have a lot of really positive experience and information we can share. And we're delighted to share that information with practices and answer questions and give people the fundamentals on how do you interview, how do you screen, and so forth.
Gotcha.
And and with clients, quite honestly, Sarah, there have been many, many times that we have participated in interviews as well to really ensure that they get the right people. We're currently now mostly, we have a firm that we are referring if it's an extensive hiring process, that we refer that out to. But on our clients who need help on the fundamentals, what we would like to do, we want to empower them to be able to do that.
100%.
The problem is it's a time-consuming process. So if you have another resource doing it for you, that can be enormously valuable.
Oh yeah, I was a one-man band running my practice up front for a very long time, and when it came to hiring for the back office team, the time it would take to screen all the applicants and go through the initial phone calls, it's a lot. So being able to train people how to do it, or have another resource that you can refer out to, that's a huge benefit.
Yes.
So I wanted to talk a little bit with you about going back to some of those courses we have. The Building Case Acceptance course, that is one of my favorites. Do we have a few minutes just to talk a little bit about that course, and can you tell our audience about it?
You bet. Well, first of all, you can go online and you can see a preview of that course, Building Case Acceptance and Increasing Case Acceptance. This is an area that I have done along with our team. We've done hundreds of CE events on this topic. We have a wonderful video on how you can get higher case acceptance. What is really good about improving case acceptance, if you do it, It's very, very simple to do it. It's basic good communication and presentation skills. We cover all the fundamentals of how you do that. And we cover how you get the patient to a point beyond just need. They know, yes, okay, I need a new crown. Okay, I need an implant. Thank you, doctor. Yes, okay, yeah, I can see that I really need that. I'm going to really think about that. Yeah, that's not somebody who is ready to schedule.
Right.
You have to take the patient from need to want. Want is desire. Want is they have enough desire. There's enough emotional force inward. They're motivated enough where they will push through their own objections, financial, time, anxiety, and so forth. And there are simple and very, very effective ways to do that. And we find that when we train offices on these skills, you see almost immediate cause and effect relationship in terms of increasing case acceptance and people starting treatment more quickly. And we have this course that you can go to online. You can access it. Just look for under the subject of case acceptance. We have a specific one that we did for the for building implants. Many practices now, certainly the surgical ones, as well as many general practices, are wanting to deliver and place implants. We have a whole training video on how to build implant case acceptance. So it's there, it's accessible, and it's very, very inexpensive.
I love it. One of the things I've heard you say over and over again is, our competition when it comes for people choosing dentistry, it's, they're competing against the big screen television versus, using the discretionary dollars to help impact their health. And so I know that this class really teaches the doctors how to, get those points across to the patients while they're in the chair and get them to schedule. So it's a great course. I've really liked it.
Yeah, good. That's great, Sarah.
So I want to kind of switch gears a little bit to more internal leadership here within our own company. I have been a part of ePractice Manager since 2019, and I absolutely love our internal culture. And you, as being our founder and CEO, how do you continue to foster a culture of innovation and continuous improvement within your team?
Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. I'm not trying to suck up here, but it's true.
I'm delighted to hear that. Well, look, we're picky. We are. Personality is very, very important, and I don't mean social presentation. I mean real. We hire genuine people. We hire people who have just very, very strong communication skills. We hire people, or we keep people who have very strong work ethic, and we're demanding. We don't compromise on our standards. HR hiring is tough now. We all know this. I see too many business owners who lower standards and just hope for the best. I kind of alluded to that before, but we do very careful selection of individuals. And I think really most importantly is I enjoy new challenges, and I intentionally create them. And I try to just make that an example for those around me. The idea of status quo, the idea of, hey, we're at a very comfortable level, is not something that I personally enjoy. I do love to take some time off and chill, but I think again, I personally feel that my value as a business owner to my employees and to our clients has to do entirely with my ability to help them do better.
Mm-hmm.
And that requires constant effort and work. And this is something that, talk about core values, this is what we try to do, all towards increasing and improving the quality of the individual and the quality of their life. Sarah, people are motivated. I've talked about this many times in seminars. People are motivated by a variety of different things. You're either motivated by that to which you are dedicated and feeling passionate about, or you can be motivated by money and just, material and personal gain. Okay, those people can be good employees, but I wouldn't necessarily want that person watching my back.
Right.
And I'm very comfortable with our team because I know that we share this common purpose, and that is we want to we truly want to help our clients. We want to make them have better lives.
100%.
Yes, bigger practices, more stuff. Okay, good. That's okay. We're okay with that. But it's when all is said and done, it's the impact that we can have on other people's lives that is important. And I think that's really the viewpoint. That's my viewpoint, and I think that's a company viewpoint.
I love it. I think it's dead on. So I have another question here, specifically talking about the future outlook. The dental industry is rapidly evolving. What emerging trends do you believe will shape the future of practice management, and how is ePractice Manager preparing for them?
Good question. Well, first of all, anybody is going to do okay who understands the basic management of their practice. Mm-hmm. Anybody is. A practice owner who has good communication skills, hopefully, who has some basic mechanics and understanding of scheduling, case presentation, how do you get cases scheduled, job descriptions, office policies, good personnel management skills, mm-hmm. and owners who just have the fundamentals of leadership and team building, mm-hmm. they're going to do okay in any kind of environment. Because, and the reason why is because many offices do not have those skills, and they kind of they fly along until they hit a bump, and then they suffer through it.
Right.
But those fundamental skills are very, very important. The future has a lot to do with AI, mm-hmm. which we are very, very much involved with. Mm-hmm. We are partnered with a firm that has developed, and we introduced this at a major dental conference last year. Within the next 6 months, it's going to be operational. It's an AI. It's patient intake using AI, and it actually uses an avatar, what's called an AI agent.
Nice.
That talks to people, answers their questions. It adds, the staff love it because it saves them so much time. Doctors love it because it saves so much of their consult and initial exam time. But AI is happening. AI has a great deal to do with the future. I think it's going to transform dentistry, as it already is many other industries. I don't think it's going to be weird science fiction and the kinds of things that people imagine it will be, where many people will be out of work. I don't feel like that is the case at all. We're not seeing that in the testing that we're doing. What we are seeing is staff members have time to do things that increase productivity and improve patient care, rather than redundant tasks and repeatable tasks that they do not have to do. And what's fascinating about this, because the pushback you get some is, oh, well, the patients are really going to, they're not going to like this. Patients love it.
Nice.
They love it. It saves them time visiting the office. They can do it from the comfort of their home. It's just basic. I'm talking about basic intake type things. And it's very, very exciting. So I think that's a very big part of our future, Sarah. And I think it's a big part of the future of dentistry.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you brought that up. Well, Alan, it's been amazing to have the opportunity to interview you directly. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your thoughts and about ePractice Manager. To our audience, if you are looking for support or guidance to help take your practice to the next level, please contact us. We'd be happy to do a free consultation and provide you some of the guidance that you might need. You can click the banner on the screen or visit www.epracticemanager.com/consulting services. And if you enjoyed today's show, we would love for you to please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications on YouTube. And we would love for you to share this with your colleagues. We're going to go live again next week. We'll be interviewing Dr. Hardeep Dhaliwal. And we'll look forward to having him as our next guest. For now, thank you so much, Alan. And
my pleasure, Sarah. What a pleasure, Sarah. Great to talk to you. It's great to have you there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you next time on Inside the Practice.
Okay.